ahead on 12 News, kickstarting a homecoming change. What's different this year at Cooper High School? Then, Robbinsdale residents hop on board to gain a fresh perspective on light rail. But first,
you can be making a lot of money really quickly because it is such an in-demand field.
A Brooklyn Park college receives a multi-million-dollar prize to put people back to work. 12 News starts right now. Students and workers in the manufacturing industry received some good news this week.
Hennepin Technical College is one of nearly 300 colleges in the nation to receive a federal grant to retrain workers. And as Delane Cleveland reports, the college has big plans that can help put people back to work.
The manufacturing lab at Hennepin Technical College is jam-packed with heavy computerized machinery that's used by students on a daily basis.
The stuff that we make here is very precise. It's stuff for the defense industry, it's stuff for medical devices, it's stuff that saves your lives or protects our country that's made here.
Matt Leaf with Hennepin Tech says students who receive training here end up in high-demand manufacturing jobs.
You can be making a lot of money really quickly because it is such an in-demand field.
Recently, he says he's noticed a shift in the education system for manufacturing workers.
If you look at the population that was largely displaced in the last layoff, there are folks who went to and got a 2-year degree but didn't really do anything to keep their skills relevant.
Now, thanks to a $3 million grant from the Department of Labor, Leaf hopes to offer more people a chance to continue their education.
This is all for new curriculum, new programs, and new innovative ways of delivering training that's different from the conventional model that people largely see now.
New innovations such as portable equipment they can take to different workforce centers.
We're one of the first in the state to have a welding helmet like this.
Equipment that includes such things as virtual reality welders.
It's so lifelike that when people normally try it, they jump back right away because they don't realize that how accurate it actually is.
One of the biggest things that has employers as well as officials from Hennepin Tech excited about this $3 million grant is what it will do for military veterans, the unemployed, and the underemployed.
You have these people who have 10, 15 years experience that have a lot of good skills, but they don't want to come for a 2-year degree. It's insulting to them to have them start at a blueprint reading.
So instead, that learning cycle is compressed, which teaches them how to use this equipment and freshen their skills.
Funding's coming in soon, so it's go time right now.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Funding for the grant starts rolling in on October 1st, and they expect to have the program up and running next semester at the earliest and fully operational by next school year.
Police are looking for a woman who robbed the TCF bank inside the Plymouth Cub Foods. It happened on Thursday afternoon at the TCF on Vicksburg Lane. The FBI says a woman simply waited in line, presented a note to a teller asking for money, and then took off. She's described as a shorter white woman, heavy-set with curly black hair. She was wearing a winter jacket. Police say she did not use a weapon and she got away with an undisclosed amount of cash.
A repeat DWI offender is back in jail with a court date on Monday. 22-year-old Taylor Hohmann was arrested in Golden Valley last weekend. Initial tests showed her blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. Hohmann was serving probation for the hit-and-run death of Michael Reimer of Crystal. At the time, she told police she thought she hit a pothole. Hohmann was sentenced to 1 year in the workhouse and 4 years probation. Now, the county attorney's office will seek to have that probation revoked and send her back to jail to finish serving her original sentence for criminal vehicular homicide.
If you're looking for signs of a rebound in new home construction, just look to Northwest Plymouth. Next month, the Plymouth City Council will take a look at plans for another new subdivision in that part of the city. The so-called Kirkwood 2 project calls for more than 70 single-family homes south of 54th Avenue between Dunkirk and Vicksburg Lanes. It's next door to a companion development project that calls for more than 40 single-family homes. The city's Planning Commission recommended preliminary approval.
The November election is actually already here. Some people are already voting. Absentee voting is underway and runs through November 5th. Brooklyn Park had 40 voters by noon today. And unlike some other states, Minnesota does not offer so-called early voting, so you have to meet one of 4 reasons to cast an absentee ballot: absence from the precinct, illness or disability, religious observance, or if you're serving as an election judge. You can vote absentee in person or by mail. Well, Cooper High School is making homecoming a community affair.
Students are getting revved up for the football game, but it won't be held until Saturday afternoon. This year, Cooper's principal scheduled homecoming for Saturday at 3 p.m. to replicate the college game day experience. The school is inviting everyone in New Hope to tailgate, catch a car show, and go to the game. New Hope's mayor says it's also a way to deter troublemakers who came to Cooper's homecoming game last year.
We do know that we had some problems last year at the homecoming game. They weren't insurmountable, but that makes the games not quite as much fun. And he just wanted to do something different, so having it on a Saturday afternoon, we're just going to see how that works, and the community is doing everything they can to support that.
The public is also invited to come out and watch the marching band process from the farmers market to the school starting at 12:30. Coming up, a fact-finding mission where Robbinsdale residents ride the rails.
Then later in sports, Maple Grove tries to take down Andover. In girls soccer, we'll have the highlights.
But first, a rather chilly weekend in store according to your AccuWeather forecast.
Just like riding in rush hour traffic, plans for light rail in the Northwest Metro are slowly nudging forward.
It's a lengthy process and one that's far from complete, but some people in Robbinsdale are getting a closer look at LRT by trying it.
Yes, okay.
So we're just 2 blocks down from now.
Call it a fact-finding mission. This group of Robbinsdale residents is riding the light rail train through Minneapolis, and they've got questions.
The communities where light rail has already gone through, have they seen any rise in like crime?
The questions are timely, as a proposed light rail line from Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park is currently on the table, and it would run right through Robbinsdale.
If they're going to be opposed to it, that's fine. I want it to be an informed opposition. I don't want them to be afraid just because they don't know exactly what they have in store.
Robbinsdale council member and mayoral candidate George Selman organized this trip, he says, to educate, not convince.
I just encourage people to take an opportunity to study the project, to duplicate our tour. We're going from the Target Field down to the VA Center.
The Robbinsdale City Council unanimously approved the proposed rail line, but the neighboring Golden Valley Council is not yet on board with the idea. And Robbinsdale residents like Nora Seidel have concerns too about what a rail line would mean in their neighborhood.
The 3 families represented here, we all live right on the tracks. Yeah, I mean, they're in our backyards.
On this tour, this group got to hear what it sounds like and see what light rail means in Minneapolis.
See a lot of advantage.
Yeah.
Nora and her husband Brad see pros and cons, as many wrestle with what a light rail line would mean for them.
Plans for the proposed Bottineau line through the northwest suburbs seem to hinge on Golden Valley. If the Golden Valley City Council doesn't eventually approve it, the project is unlikely to receive federal funding.
Well, coming up, tips to add a little fall flair to your garden.
But up first in sports, a look ahead to a big Saturday for several local high school cross-country teams. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
John Jacobson with sports. A little cooler this weekend. Might be good for a good cross-country run.
It is a little nicer for runners. You know, I think as spectators, we want it a little warmer. If you're running, you want it a little cooler, and that's what we're going to have tomorrow. Saturday's a big day for cross-country in the state. Though the GRIAC Invitational at the University of Minnesota is 1 week later this fall, the 2 other large meets are Saturday. And that includes the Malacca Mega Meet, where the Armstrong Falcons will be running along with many other local teams. It's billed as one of the country's largest meets, and it's one the Falcons are looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've never ran here before, but I've heard a lot of good things about the size of the meet and the quality, so I'm excited.
You see buses when you first get there for miles upon miles, and there's go-karts running around and picking up people, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of, I think it's one of the biggest meets in North America, so that makes it really interesting. And there's a lot of good competition.
The favorite thing is the course. The course is on a golf course, and those races are harder and harder to find. The other thing that we like about it is the way that it's broken up by grade level. It really gives the kids, having a 7 through 12 program, it really gives those younger kids in particular kind of a litmus test as far as where they're at with other kids their age.
The Armstrong girls team lost some talent to graduation, but they're getting better in a hurry. The boys team is also performing pretty well so far heading into the Malacca meet.
Last year we weren't so good, but this year we're moving up a lot, doing a lot better in meets. We still got a lot of room for improvement, but we can do a lot better.
We lost a lot of our fast runners last year, so we weren't sure how it was going to be, but a lot of people have picked it up, so we're optimistic.
Osseo, Park Center, Maple Grove, Champlain Park, Providence, and the Wayzata girls are among the other local teams heading to Malacca. Cooper is among the teams in the Apple Valley Invitational Saturday. The Osseo volleyball team is in third place in the Northwest Suburban Conference with just one loss in league play. The Orioles at home against Andover Thursday. After trailing early in the first game, Osseo battles back. Megan Pekarik and Janae Morton combined for the block, and it's 13-12 Orioles. They take charge from there. Pekarik sets it to Shia Sanders for the big kill to seal up game one as Osseo takes it 25-18. Game two is a close one. The Huskies start with a nice dig and they get into their offense with Olivia Graham getting the kill. And Andover takes the second game 25-23 to even things up. In the third game, off the Andover serve, Osseo takes the point. Pekarik sets to Phyllis Webb for the kill. 17-15 Osseo. They win the third game, 25-23. Osseo gets out to a big lead in the fourth game. Pekarik sets up Jackie Jones for the kill. Osseo takes game four, 25-15, and they win it 3-1. In prep soccer, Wayzata and Minnetonka's boys teams tied the first time they met. The rematch at Minnetonka, and Wayzata's Lewis O'Connor with the corner kick right to Drake Mianis for the header goal. The Trojans lead 4.5 minutes in. Later in the first half, Alexi Moa takes the pass, drills the shot that stopped, but Bradley Boble buries the rebound for a 2-0 Trojans lead. Tonka gets on the board after a throw-in. The ball is loose in front. Ryan Braun buries it from point-blank range. That pulls the Skippers within 2-1 at the half. Wayzata puts it away with this one. The first try hits the crossbar. Max Moline saves the second, but Nick Riley buries the next try, and the Trojans score a 3-1 win. The Maple Grove girls soccer team lost its first conference match of the season Wednesday. The Crimson hope to avoid back-to-back losses when they hosted unbeaten Andover Thursday. First half of this one, Haley Nelson passed to McKenna Poplinski, a beautiful chip in for a goal. The Crimson lead at 1-0. Later in the first half, check out the big save by Maple Grove's Maritza Hamilton, robbing Hayden Becker of a goal, and defender Angie Davison clears the ball away. Great pass here on the free kick by Larissa McCloth, headed in perfectly by Kaylee Beat, and it's 2-0 Crimson. A solid game for Coach Ben Levon's Crimson. Nelson scores the team's fourth goal of the night in the second half. Maple Grove stuns Andover. 5-0 Crimson is the final. And that's Look at Sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John. We have a candidate profile today with just one candidate.
That's because DFL incumbent Michael Nelson is unopposed as he runs for re-election to the State House. Nelson's District 40A covers part of Brooklyn Park.
Hello, I'm State Representative Michael Nelson. It has been my honor and privilege to serve my neighbors in the Minnesota House of Representatives. If re-elected, I will continue to work on issues important to the residents of Brooklyn Park. I have worked for strong schools, safe neighborhoods, and policies to promote job growth. And I have worked to reduce red tape. Yet there is still work to be done. We must feel safe in our homes, in our schools, and on our streets. Good paying jobs, strong schools, and public safety are core values we all share. I look forward to expanding on the progress we've made and in tackling the challenges we still face. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, November 6th, and I thank you for your support.
And we'll have candidate profiles on air and online now through Election Day. You can see them on our website, 12.tv. By the way, next week we will begin to hear from candidates running in 5 state Senate races in the Northwest Metro. Well, it's that time of year when the garden begins to lose its luster.
But don't be discouraged. Up next, we'll have some tips to help keep the gardening spirit alive when we come back. As we head into autumn, you might be thinking of giving your yard some fall flair.
Renee Bonneau goes in the garden now for tips on how to decorate using items from around the house.
We're here with Hennepin County Master Gardener Jamie Sled. And Jamie, we're talking about fall planters. Nothing says fall like a pumpkin.
Exactly. This is the time of year where a lot of our summer plantings are looking a little bit tired and we want to have things fresh to put on our front porch. These are things that you just find at home that we already have. So what I did today was I took this great pumpkin and I cleaned it out, made room on the inside of it, and what I'm going to do is fill it with some dirt, just regular potting soil. Fill this in as much as you need, and then I have a mum that I bought from my local greenhouse. Take my mum out and actually just put it right down into the pumpkin. You water it, fill it and rest with the dirt as you need it, and water it to keep it moist. And now you've got a great new little display for your front porch. I just had a basket here and I took two other little mums, put it in the basket. Here's another thing. This is a silverware holder I have for my table out on the deck. And I just, again, take two inexpensive little plants and I just tuck them, just pot and all, right down into the container. Add a little bit of whimsy to it by sticking a little dragonfly in there. You've got the great fall colors with still some green and your dragonfly. And one last, well, two things. This is a candle stand, a candle holder. I just took another plant and you can set it up there. Now, the creativity of my husband says, well, what about a work boot? I have an old work boot in the garage. So we're gonna take this old work boot. You could either leave your plant right in the pot or you could put dirt in here, tuck your plant in, and there you go.
Wonderful.
Isn't that great?
That is very unique, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So if you might have any creative ideas, you might want to go in your garage or your kitchen and maybe look for similar things like this to make planters out of. We are in Maple Grove for In the Garden. Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
We were just thinking, those are things that even we could do.
Yes,
Maybe.
I like that.
If we thought of it.
Yeah.
if we could find an old enough boot somewhere.
Yeah,
right. We need to find another pair.
That's right. That'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next.